It was one of those bitter nights in Cleveland where the cold doesn't just sting your face, it seeps into your bones. I was late getting home, stuck at a stoplight near the back alley of a fancy restaurant when I saw her. A little girl couldn't be more than 7 skinny arms wrapped around herself in a coat 2 sizes too big. She was standing next to a woman, the kind who walks like the world owes her something, barking at the kid to dig in the trash. At first I thought I must have misunderstood, but then I heard it clear as day. Eat it. Right now. The girl whimpered, "Please, I'm cold." And the woman snapped, "Do it or you'll sleep outside again." That's when something in me just snapped. I got out of my car. No plan, just instinct. "Hey, I said, what the hell are you doing?" She spun around, eyes sharp as broken glass. "Mind your own business. She's my kid. I'm not the type to interfere, but you don't watch a child get treated like garbage." I pulled my phone out, held it up where she could see the screen. "You've got 2 options, back away now, or you explain this to the police on speakerphone." She laughed high, cold. "Go ahead. Call your friends. Nobody's gonna take her from me." Behind me, car doors opened. People started recording. Her smirk flickered. Sirens in the distance. That's how it started. I'm Marcus, by the way. Most people know me as the quiet tech guy who built some app and cashed out. What they don't know is I've been living with a hole in my life since my daughter died 3 years ago. I drive at night sometimes just to escape the silence of my condo. And maybe that's why I couldn't just drive past that alley. The cop showed up first, Ramirez, the old veteran who's seen it all. Then a woman from child services named Melanie. She crouched to the girl's level, spoke soft. "Sweetheart, what's your name, Naomi?" she whispered, holding a stuffed rabbit like it was oxygen. Melanie wrapped her in a blanket, eyes never leaving mine. "Sir, did you witness what happened?" "I saw enough," I said. Enough to know she shouldn't go back with that woman. That was the hook, but the real fight was just beginning. Naomi was placed in emergency foster care. Melanie gave me her card. "If you're serious about helping her," she said, "be ready. It's not simple." I told her I was. What I didn't say was, I'd already made up my mind I wasn't going to let that child vanish back into the system. Days blurred into court filings, background checks, meetings with lawyers. My attorney Lydia warned me, "Marcus, these cases aren't won with money, they're won with proof and patience." We dug into Naomi's records, or rather the lack of them. No school enrollment, no doctor visits, no legal guardianship. Meredith, the stepmother, had been hiding her in plain sight. Meanwhile, Naomi started coming over for supervised visits. At first, she barely spoke, eyes darting like a stray animal waiting for the trap to spring. But then one morning, she saw the tiny tree I'd planted on my balcony, a scraggly thing trying to live in a pot of clay. "It's small," she said. "It's growing," I told her. "Just needs someone to look after it." She touched the leaves like they were glass. That's when I saw the flicker of trust. Meredith fought dirty. She went on local TV calling me a rich kidnapper, leaked old photos of me drunk after my daughter's funeral. "This man can't take care of a child," she hissed to cameras. But we kept building our case. Melanie filed her reports. Lydia lined up witnesses, 2 former neighbors, a teenage girl named Shayla, who'd been in the same house and could describe the punishments in detail. The first hearing was brutal. Meredith showed up with a new haircut and a crocodile smile. "Your Honor," she purred, "this man is trying to buy my stepdaughter." The judge looked at me. "Mr. Hale, do you have anything to say?" I stood up, palms sweating, voice shaking but steady. "I'm not buying anything. I'm trying to stop a little girl from being starved and terrorized. That's all. We won a small victory, temporary custody under supervision, but Meredith managed to get my visits limited." Naomi cried that night. "They're gonna send me back," she whispered into her cocoa. I knelt so we were eye to eye. "No, they're not. Not if I can help it." She searched my face like she'd been lied to 100 times already. "You promise," she said. "I promise," I said, and for once I meant it down to my bones. Weeks turned into months. I learned to braid hair badly, to cook pancakes at dawn, to leave the hall light on because she hated the dark. She learned to sleep without her shoes on, to answer questions at school, to laugh without checking who was listening. Little by little, we both started healing. Then came the day Shayla walked into my office clutching a folder. I couldn't stay quiet anymore, she said. Inside were notes she'd written during her time in Meredith's house, dates, punishments, witnesses. That folder cracked the whole thing open. Melanie moved fast, filing for a full guardianship transfer. The hearing was set. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, advocates, neighbors, everyone who'd been following the case showed up. Naomi sat in the front row with Melanie clutching her rabbit. Meredith took the stand, first oozing charm. But when Lydia started her cross, it all fell apart. Ms. Collins, can you explain why Naomi has no school records for 2 years? Silence. And these medical bills, whose child are they for silence again? The mask slipped just a little. Finally, it was my turn. I didn't give a speech, just told the truth. About my daughter, about that alley, about the nights Naomi woke screaming, and how we sat on the kitchen floor until dawn. She's not a project, I said. She's a person, and she deserves a home. When I sat down, the room was quiet, except for the sound of Naomi's little rabbit hitting the floor as she stood up and walked over to me. She took my hand. I want to stay, she said, clear as a bell. The judge leaned forward. Child Services supports the petition. Melanie nodded. The gavel came down. Full guardianship awarded to Marcus Hale. Just like that. Meredith's lawyer hissed something about an appeal, but everyone could see it was over. That night, Naomi fell asleep on the couch while I watched the snow fall outside. For the first time in years, the silence in my home didn't feel empty. It felt alive. Of course, it didn't end in a fairy tale. A few weeks later, Meredith filed for visitation. We went back to court. This time, Naomi brought a drawing she'd made a tree with deep roots and a knight standing beside it. When the judge asked if she wanted to speak, she stood at the microphone, hands trembling but voice steady. I don't want to see her. She hurt me. You could hear the whole room inhale at once. The judge denied visitation. This court will not force contact under these circumstances, he said. Naomi walked back to our table, sat down, and whispered, Home, home, I said. I tell you this, not because I'm a hero. I'm not. I was just a guy at a stoplight who didn't look away. But that night changed 2 lives, hers and mine. Now sometimes I catch myself watching her in the yard, planting lavender and tomatoes, the porch light off, and I think about all the kids who don't get their night at the stoplight, who don't get someone to step out of the car. That's why I'm telling you this story here. What do you think, should someone like Meredith ever get a second chance? Or do some lines once crossed stay crossed forever? Have you ever seen something like this and wondered if you should step in? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about what's right, what's wrong, and what kind of world we're willing to live in.